to infinity and beyond.
Everyone, it's Roger and James here from DisKingdom.com, and in this episode, kind of a surprise. I thought after last week's episode where we talked about Marvel Heroes Omega closing, there couldn't be any more issues. Well, we were wrong. Literally, after that information went out, and literally that episode, about 3-4 hours later, well, on Thanksgiving Eve, yeah, they pretty much laid off their entire staff at Gazillion on Thanksgiving Eve. All the guys were reporting on Twitter that they've been let go. Their insurance is not coming in. Their paid holiday won't be paid. Servers were supposed to be going, unofficially were being turned off on the Friday because the company, the engineers were then let go on the Saturday. The server, as of right now, at 8 o'clock in the morning UK time on Monday morning, are still live. They're still there. But whether or not they are up when this episode goes live, they probably will be gone. I am expecting Monday, whoever isn't working, because they did it all happen over the long weekend, so it might keep running. It might keep running basically till the server people don't get paid and they turn it off. The people could come in and just literally, there could be receivers just turn up and pick the machines up, unplug it, and walk out. It's like people have been jumping on for they were all jumping on like Thursday night to do the last run through, and the game was still running, and people were running right through the weekend, and it's literally like it's the morning check on. Is it still there? It's like how a game can go into this point where it's literally like the worst kind of ending to a game you could. It's just awful. It's just an awful way of ending.
Yeah, and it's especially awful to the developers who all got laid off with pretty much no notice, no benefits, all their insurance canceled, and right before Thanksgiving and Christmas. So obviously many of them will land on their feet. I know that people in the industry have already started putting information out, asking for job applications.
Yeah.
Are we having problems, sir?
No.
Okay.
It's just this weird thing. The way that kind of comes out with down. I'm just trying to bring up a little bit of information there. They all got laid off at the last minute, and I mean, to do it just before Thanksgiving is just horrendous, really. And it's a whole issue of the games don't bring until the end of December, and then suddenly hit miss when it will drop in. And I mean, I must admit, I jumped on. I on Saturday night I was home. My wife was at work for a few more hours, and I'm like, do you know what? I actually fired up the game on the PlayStation. I thought, well, I haven't done it on my UK account, so I had Deadpool, and then I brought tons and tons of boosts and stuff because they're only 1G for a pack of 5. I was leveling up. I mean, I got Deadpool from like level 2 to level 25 in a space of 30 minutes because I just put him on his Vesper and just ran through every single level. And I actually, to be honest, I was having a blast because it was almost a thing of like, this is my last hurrah. This is let's just see if I can unlock some PlayStation trophies. And I didn't care about battling people I was having a lot of fun, but I know a lot of people have been kind of jumping in, trying to get trophies before the game shuts down.
Yeah, I mean, I had it uninstalled back when they first announced the everything, all this drama happening. So I have not jumped back in, and I will not be jumped back in because I fully expect that the minute I finish downloading it is when the servers will go down. So no point in that.
I don't even know if you can download it anymore. I don't even know it's on the store actually.
It might. Well, I'm sure that if I go through my history, you can, just like anything else, because Deadpool game has been delisted off of everything. If you already owned it, then you can still download it. I'm sure it's the same deal. But yeah, everyone who's still playing, you can thank me later for downloading and killing the experience for everyone. That said, as we have said in previous podcasts, personally, for myself, I got more than my money's worth out of this game. I spent more on this game than I probably have on any other game. This was the game that convinced me I do not want to play with loot boxes, and I don't want to play games that don't have a flat fee up front.
Yeah.
But That said, over 700 hours in this game on the PC. I will miss it, and I will miss what it could have become. But let's see what Marvel and Disney have up their sleeves. This game has been mismanaged for at least the past year and a half, if not longer. So, this isn't too much of a surprise to anyone who's been paying attention.
Yeah, it's not on the PlayStation Store anymore. I just had a quick look there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's been this odd one because we talk about obviously Disney and Marvel get put into that thing of they're the bad guys and they've pulled the plug and all the rest of it. This being how the game ends is just, I think it's just that final, just like, this is really it. I mean, the staff like I said, this game could run for another 2 weeks until literally a man in a van turns up to pick the server up, or the company don't get paid for the server at the end of the month, and they disconnect it. It's like it just feels so bad. This is a Marvel property, and it feels like it's like, this just feels odd.
Yeah, and let's be fair, it does sound like Marvel was going to let the game run through the 31st of December, and it was actually the people that Gazillion owed money to, the banks and stuff, who were like, yeah, we hear you're having problems. How about you pay up? And they're like, we can't. So they laid everyone off, paid off what they could. So, yes, Marvel and DC are certainly responsible for not renewing the license.
Especially DC, saying they're awful.
Sorry, Marvel and Disney. You're right. I might be getting a little tired at the moment, but they might be, the reason the plug was pulled, but they're not the reason directly that it was pulled the way it was. No. So
it's definitely, it's awful for the way that it got done with the staff. And especially as well, like holiday pay and insurances and things like that. Just the way it's gone down, and to do it on Thanksgiving in an email, and regardless of us as players, having just, I think it's the fact that I think a lot of people, it's almost like that weird thing of like, okay, this is a mess, and then it's a mess on top of a mess, and then even the mess goes wrong. It's just like this continuous issue of the fact that it's going down on the 31st. A day later, no, we've all been laid off, and now the game's closing on the Friday. Then Friday hits, and no, they've not turned it off, and it's carried on through. It's just it's been an odd experience, because usually when something shuts down, it's quite coordinated, and this doesn't feel coordinated in the slightest.
No, this is a whole bunch of different people doing different things with different information. The servers will go down soon, possibly at the end of the month, but
they could be gone today.
They could be gone today.
They could literally have been turned off this morning, when it's that thing as well of doing it on Thanksgiving Eve. If you. And the fact I read on, because I've been reading the Facebook group and the Reddit and the forums and stuff. There's a load of misinformation running around there, but apparently the server engineers and stuff were let go on the Saturday, but the servers are held with another company in another location, so it's not actually in their offices or anything like that. So it's odd. Enjoy it if you can get in there and do it, but certainly don't. And if you want to get those trophies and it's still alive, don't do it now, but I'm probably just going to uninstall, and that's the end of the game, because I had a bit of fun the other night, but it's like, it just feels like the worst way to end the game.
Yeah, and it really was kind of a kick in the pants for anyone who spent money on the console versions of the game, because you really. Depending on how much time you played with it, you may or may not have gotten your money's worth out of any characters you purchased. So,
going for your refunds, I know a lot of people have been. I think Xbox have been a lot better than PlayStation. The trouble is with that is that in some ways it's almost like a run on a bank, isn't it? Where, if they didn't know, essentially, if that money's then not coming in from Xbox because then they're reducing. That could have been one of the issues of the money stopping, but obviously Microsoft, you just don't know what was going in on it. If Microsoft and PlayStation And I'll be honest, it's not really their issue that the game that's not there. It's just like if they refund you, they might be paying it out of their own pocket because they might not be able to get anything back from Gazillion because they had already like probably gone. So I don't know really, like Microsoft and PlayStation, whether or not they do have to really, whether or not they might give it to you as a goodwill, but it's going to be odd. I mean, whether or not people still get the refund, I would say go for it. I mean, especially if you've brought in the last 2 months. You know, if you brought that Loki pack or that Black Bolt pack, or you put some G's in September, go for it, because you've got nothing else to lose. And everyone's been laid off, and it's just a disaster. And I brought some packs back in May. I'm not putting in a refund because to me it's like that's 4 or 5 months ago. I've had my time, and I wouldn't view that I'd be eligible for a refund at that point.
Yeah, I think I got the War Machine pack when the PlayStation 4 version launched. So that was it. I leveled him to 60 on the PlayStation version. I could try to get refunds on my PC purchases that I made more than a year ago, but I don't think that's going to work.
No, I think it's more the recent ones, but it's just generally, as I said, it's like that weird thing of like, this was a really mishandled situation, and probably things like this are probably going to change the way of how Marvel, hopefully, I hope in some ways, Marvel work out how to deal with this issue and Disney deal with these issues going forward with these live services. Because I think, like I mentioned this before, they need to start planning for pulling the plug before they launch the game. I know that's probably, not really the best way of looking at it. Well, this is going to be so successful, this is going to bring us in all the money and it's going to run forever. No, it's not. And I think they need to start working on these back out plans much more than they have been. And I think people need to be given more notice. I think in terms of all games, not just go, okay, now it's retired. I think in general, because this thing of what's going on with Marvel Heroes is going to, and with Battlefront 2, is going to creep over every single, and Disney Infinity, and it's, there's a real backlash against Disney's gaming zone at this precise minute because of these actions.
Yeah, the problem is convincing people in corporate culture to build in an evacuation plan is almost impossible. That's actually literally part of my job at my company. And the number of people who are like, no, why do we need an evacuation plan for this? Obviously, this is going to go just fine. Building in a plan to get out is like asking for failure. Like, that's not really true. But trying to convince people of this is almost impossible. So I imagine even on the Disney Marvel side, going, whatever replaces Marvel Heroes, make sure you've got a way of keeping the servers on for X amount of time, letting people go with severance for X amount of dollars. Even with this as an example, people are gonna be like, why do we need this? Why are we setting ourselves up for failure? It's totally a mental thing, but the pushback I get at my job on that,
it almost feels like it should be just standard protocol. You need to give customers 3 months notice beforehand that the game is, and it's just a flat out, straight up, every game has to have those same things. Because I think as well, because I mean, this year we've talked about so many game closures, and it's getting to that point where I'm like, even like with Disney Magic Kingdoms, I'm thinking, I'm starting to go, I don't really want to put any more money into this because you could pull the plug next week. And I mean, I'm sure Disney Crossy Roads is going to be the next one to go, because they haven't updated in 6 months. I don't know. I'm just getting very, very wary of the whole live service, loot boxes, buying characters, online platforms. I feel like I've really been burnt this year, and I think there's probably going to be an episode of itself at the end of the year.
What have we lost this year? Honestly, there's more than enough content for that, and I think you're not the only one. Yeah. I think consumers are starting to go, if you can't prove to us that we're going to get the value that we put into this, then we're not going to put money into this. Now, there will always be whales. Whales are always going to whale, but I think there's going to be less of them.
So what I would recommend is go out and buy Lego Marvel Super Heroes 2 and play a game, which has no online components. You pay for what you get. You complete the game. You can go and spend as much time in the open world until you've had your thing, and then you take your money, and you either trade it in and buy something else, or you go back into it, and you then go buy a Super Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild or, Marvel vs. Capcom. At least it's got a standard a campaign, and even Battlefront 2 has something in it. But generally, yeah. If you're planning on investing a lot into online games, maybe set yourself a real budget of how much you are willing to put down the toilets and go, look, literally, I've got this much money to play. It's like a coffee, like a sandwich. Once it's gone, I'm not getting any refunds. There's no, do-overs. And I think that's the way that everyone has to start looking at these live services and mobile games. This is a cup of coffee. I've said it before. This is a consumable product. You're not getting. This is not a collectible. This is not a. Like you say, gotta catch them all. Gotta collect them all. It doesn't work when you keep taking it away.
At the end of the day, I put money into Marvel Heroes. I don't regret it because I got my money's worth out of it. But I played it for 4 years. Console players, different story entirely. So don't take my experience for them. No. But yeah, at the end of the day, I put the money into it. I have literally nothing physical to go with it. Now, that's almost slightly. I was at PAX East when they were ramping up, and if I had bought one of the character packs there for $20, one of the pre-release character packs, I would have gotten a poster with it, and then I would have had something physical. But other than that, no, I've gotten literally nothing physical to show for the money I spent. Now, I've got the hours that I spent. I had the fun times, the memories. Etc. But no, there's nothing back here. There's nothing I can put up on the wall. That kind of calls into anything because I literally last night I'm gonna go through Amazon because I've started doing it now. The new Star Wars comics out. Buy it digitally, £2.50. I read it. It's in my digital library because I have got stackfuls of comics in cupboards that I end up throwing away when I move out because it's like they're not worth anything. They are just like a newspaper or you pick up a magazine at the. We try to build in this whole thing that they are this collectible item, but they're not. They aren't worth anything. It is just like you pick up your Heat magazine or your newspaper today and you throw it away tomorrow when you finish reading with it. Comic books, in essence, to me, fall into that same category. So buying it digitally, I read it and that's the end of it. But yeah, digital gaming has changed. Definitely feels like it's changed this year. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like you said, we'll probably go into this in one of our year-end recap kind of things coming up in December. So
right. On that note, guys, be sure to check us out over at DisKingdom.com. James, where can they find you?
You find me heroiclegacy.com. And hey, I've even got videos of Marvel Heroes being played, so you can remember.
Yes, and that's going to be the only way we're going to remember this game from now on.
Yeah.
On that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. See you guys soon. Later.